Across 17 star systems, predator species teach their young one rule. Never show weakness. Never cry out in pain. Because weakness means death. But on Station Arcturus 7, a human cargo handler heard something that broke that rule. A scream, high-pitched, desperate, coming from a Vex'lar cub tangled in industrial cables, its leg crushed. What happened next made every predator species in the galaxy rewrite their understanding of humanity. The human didn't hesitate. He didn't calculate odds. He roared at a pack of 8-foot-tall apex hunters. Creatures that could tear through steel plating. Beings that had conquered 12 worlds through pure savagery. And the pack fell silent. Here's the truth nobody tells you about humans in the galactic community. We're not the strongest. We're not the fastest. We're classified as persistence predators with emotional instability. Most species avoid us. But the truth behind this will shock you. Because what that human did on Arcturus 7 triggered 3 revelations that changed interstellar law. First, we're going to discover why predator species fear human compassion more than human weapons. Second, you'll learn about the biological response that makes humans dangerous when protecting the helpless. And third, the shocking reason the Galactic Council now considers humans both the most dangerous and most valuable species in known space. This isn't fiction. This is documented in Galactic Incident Report #4478H. 7 species filed formal complaints. 3 requested humans be quarantined to Earth. The Vex'lar pack leader did something unprecedented instead. Every fact you think you know about humans in space is about to change. Because the moment that human roared, he didn't just save a cub. He exposed a flaw in every predator empire that had lasted 10,000 years. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Station Arcturus 7 sits at the border of neutral space. It's a trading hub. 17 different species work there. Humans arrived only 15 years ago after first contact. We're the newest members of the galactic community. Most species had space travel for thousands of years. Humans just figured out faster than light drives. The Vex'lar are different. They're apex predators from Vex Prime. 8 feet tall. For arms. Claws that cut through durasteel. They controlled 6 colony worlds through military supremacy. Their culture worships strength. Cubs trained to hunt at age 3. Adults who show mercy are exiled. Pain is private. You endure or you die. Here's the first surprise. Humans were assigned the lowest tier jobs on Arcturus 7. Cargo handling. Waste management. Security considered us too emotional for important work. The Vex'lar held security contracts. They kept order through intimidation. It worked. Crime rates were near zero. The second surprise? Humans and Vex'lar had never directly interacted before this incident. Station policy kept species separated by danger classification. Humans were Class 3. Vex'lar were Class 7. The gap between classes meant we weren't supposed to be in the same corridors. But Cargo Bay 12 had a malfunction that morning. Human crew and Vex'lar security were both dispatched. Protocol said the Vex'lar would handle it. The human on duty was Marcus Webb. Age 34. Former paramedic from Earth. He'd worked stations for 2 years. Kept his head down. Followed rules. The Vex'lar security team brought cubs that day. It's their tradition. Young warriors observe their elders to learn dominance. One cub wandered into the damaged section. Curious. Overconfident. The industrial cables that had malfunctioned were live. High voltage. The kind used for massive cargo lifts. The cub got tangled. The cables activated. Its leg was crushed between 2 hydraulic clamps. It screamed. That sound broke every rule of Vex'lar culture. The pack froze. Not from compassion. From shame. The cub had revealed weakness. In Vex'lar law, the pack was supposed to abandon it. Let it die. Teach the lesson that weakness has consequences. The pack leader turned away. The others followed. That's when Marcus Webb stepped between them and the cub. Now here's where things get really interesting. Marcus didn't speak Vex'lar. He didn't know their customs. He saw a child in pain and adults walking away. His brain didn't process species. Process threat and victim. Station cameras captured what happened next. The footage went viral across 72 worlds within 6 hours. Marcus spread his arms wide, made himself bigger, and roared. Not words, not a threat in any language. A primal sound that came from somewhere deep in human evolution. The sound our ancestors made defending their young against saber-toothed cats. The Vex'lar pack stopped. Here's what nobody expected. Vex'lar have fought wars for 3,000 years. They've faced weapons that vaporize planets. They've never retreated from battle. But they retreated from Marcus Webb. The pack leader later testified at the inquiry. His statement was recorded. The human's eyes showed no fear, only fury. We have seen battle rage before. This was different. This was a parent defending its young. We have no counter to that instinct. Let me explain why this matters. Humans have a biological response called protective aggression. When we perceive someone helpless being harmed, our bodies flood with adrenaline and oxytocin simultaneously. Adrenaline gives us strength. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It makes us care. No other species combines them like this. Predators feel rage. Prey animals feel fear. Humans feel rage on behalf of others. Scientists call it third-party punishment. We attack threats to people we don't even know. Marcus had never met that Vex'lar cub. It wasn't his species. It wasn't his responsibility. His job was cargo handling, not rescue. But his brain categorized it as child in danger. Everything else became irrelevant. He pulled a plasma cutter from his belt, approached the hydraulic clamp. The pack leader moved forward. Marcus turned and roared again. The cameras caught the pack leader's eyes dilating. He stepped back. Marcus cut through the clamp, freed the cub's leg. The bone was shattered. The cub was going into shock. Marcus removed his shirt, wrapped the leg, applied pressure, started talking in that soft voice humans use with scared children. The cub stopped screaming, started making a chittering sound. Later, xenobiologists confirmed that's the Vex'lar infant comfort sound. They only make it with their mothers. It made that sound to Marcus. The pack watched, silent, confused. Their entire worldview was breaking. Because here's what they couldn't understand. Marcus was smaller, weaker. If they attacked, he'd die in seconds. But he acted like he'd already won. And in a way, he had. Station Medical arrived. Human and Vex'lar doctors together. They stabilized the cub. Marcus refused treatment for the electrical burns on his hands. He kept saying, "Take care of the kid first." The kid. He called the Vex'lar cub a kid. That word appeared in 17 incident reports. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. The Galactic Council held an emergency session 3 days later. The Vex'lar Empire filed a formal complaint. Not against Marcus. Against themselves. The complaint stated, "Humanity has exposed a critical flaw in Vex'lar society. Request Council guidance on cultural reform." This had never happened before. Predator species don't admit weakness. They especially don't request help changing their culture. But the pack leader did something unprecedented. It claimed sanctuary under human protection. Let me explain what this means. In galactic law, claiming sanctuary means you're asking another species to defend you from your own people. It's incredibly rare. It means you're admitting your society wants to kill you. The Vex'lar Empire wanted the pack leader executed. This crime? Allowing a subordinate species to show superior strength. The pack leader's name was Kravex. It had served in 17 combat campaigns, won 12 honor duels, led warriors for 40 years, and it looked at Marcus Webb and saw something it had never seen before. Purpose without dominance. Here's the hidden mechanism most species miss about humans. We have mirror neurons that fire when we see others in pain. Our brains literally simulate their suffering. We feel it. Other species understand pain intellectually. Humans experience it empathetically. This makes us dangerous in a way the galaxy wasn't prepared for. Think about it. A soldier who feels enemy pain still fights to protect civilians. That's not logical. That's not tactical. That's humanity choosing the harder path because suffering matters. The council debated for 16 hours. Multiple species argued humans should be restricted. The Vex'lar representative made a surprising argument. It said humanity was the first species to demonstrate strength through mercy. And that terrified them. Because empires built on dominance can't survive contact with empires built on compassion. Here's why. Dominance requires constant enforcement. You must always be strongest. Always be feared. One moment of weakness destroys everything. But compassion builds networks. When you help someone, they remember. When you protect their child, they become loyal. Marcus didn't gain one ally. He gained an entire pack. And through them, access to Vex'lar military intelligence, trade routes, and political influence. He didn't try for any of that. He just didn't want a kid to die. The council realized something. Humans were accidentally conquering through kindness. Station records showed a pattern. Human workers helped everyone. Fixed equipment for free. Shared food. Taught skills. Not for profit. Just because someone needed help. Within 6 months of humans arriving, productivity increased 47%. Conflicts decreased 82%. Species that had avoided each other for centuries were cooperating. Nobody planned this. Humans were just being human. The Vex'lar saw this and understood their empire was obsolete. You can't compete with someone who helps your children. You can't fight someone who treats your wounded. You can't dominate someone who volunteers their strength. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. The Galactic Council discovered humanity had already done this before. On Earth, they pulled our history, every war, every conflict, every civilization that rose and fell. The pattern was consistent. Humans conquered through culture. We absorbed enemies by making them family. The Roman Empire didn't just conquer. It offered citizenship. Defeated tribes became Romans. Alexander the Great married into the cultures he conquered. Made their gods his gods. Their people his people. American culture spread globally not through force. Through movies, music, ideas about freedom that people wanted. The council realized something terrifying. Humans had unified an entire planet not through the strongest military. Through the most appealing culture. We made people want to be us. Here's the revelation that changed everything. The council analyzed human history and found we'd survived 10 near-extinction events. Ice ages. Supervolcano eruptions. Plagues that killed 90% of populations. We survived because we helped each other. Other species survive through individual strength or hive minds. Humans created something different. Flexible cooperation between unrelated individuals. We help strangers. We adopt children from different tribes. We risk death for people we just met. This isn't weakness. It's the most powerful survival strategy in galactic history. The Council ran simulations. In every scenario where humans integrated with another species, cultural assimilation happened within 3 generations. Not through force, through friendship. Here's why this matters. The galaxy has 17 major empires, all built on some form of dominance. Military, economic, technological. Humans introduced a new empire model. Emotional. We don't demand loyalty. We earn it. We don't force compliance. We inspire it. We don't conquer territory. We make allies. And you can't defend against that. The Vex'lar Empire tried. They restricted human contact, banned cultural exchange, prohibited mixed crews. Within 8 months, Vex'lar warriors were requesting human assignments. They wanted to understand the species that showed strength through mercy. The Empire couldn't punish all of them. The warriors were too valuable. The restrictions failed. Here's the final piece. That Vex'lar cub Marcus saved, named Rexith, survived. The leg healed. By Vex'lar law, it should have been exiled. Weakness means removal from society. Instead, the pack leader declared a new tradition. Cubs who survive through another's mercy become bonded. They're assigned to that person as permanent allies. Rexith became bonded to Marcus. This created a legal problem. Bonding requires military service. Marcus wasn't Vex'lar military. He was human cargo crew. The solution. The Vex'lar Empire created a new rank. cultural warrior. It recognized that some battles are won through compassion. Marcus Webb became the first human to hold Vex'lar military rank. He never trained, never fought. He just saved a kid. 7 other species adopted similar protocols within 2 years. The galaxy was changing, and humans were the catalyst. Not through war, through the simple act of caring. So what does all this mean for us today? The incident on Arcturus 7 happened 11 years ago. The ripple effects are still transforming the galaxy. First, human integration accelerated dramatically. Before Marcus, we held low-tier positions. Now, humans serve as diplomats on 42 worlds. Why? Because other species trust us with their vulnerable. Second, the concept of protective aggression is now taught at every galactic military academy. Not as weakness, as tactical advantage. Commanders learn that soldiers who fight for others fight harder than soldiers who fight for glory. Third, and most important for you watching this, Earth's position in galactic politics shifted completely. We went from probationary members to essential mediators. When species have disputes, they request human arbitrators. Not because we're neutral, because we care about fair outcomes. This created economic opportunity. Human consulting firms now operate on 70 planets. Our expertise? Making diverse groups cooperate. We're good at it because we had to be. Earth has thousands of cultures, hundreds of languages, different religions, values, and traditions. We learn to coexist or die. That skill set is incredibly valuable in a galaxy of 17 empires that barely tolerate each other. Here's what this means practically. Job opportunities for humans in space increased 400% in the last decade. Demand for human teachers, medics, negotiators, and yes, cargo handlers exceeds supply. Why cargo handlers? Because we treat equipment with care. We help others load ships. We build relationships that become trade advantages. The skills that seemed worthless became priceless. Now for the darker implications. Not everyone's happy about human influence. 3 empires view us as a threat. The KRYLL collective called us cultural contamination. The Zathor hierarchy banned human media. The Corellian Empire restricts human travel. They're afraid, not of our weapons, of our values, because values spread. A KRYLL worker who sees humans helping each other starts questioning why KRYLL society doesn't. A Zathor soldier who serves with humans starts doubting warrior honor codes that prevent mercy. This is soft power at its most dangerous. We're not trying to convert anyone. We're just being ourselves. And that's enough to shake 1,000-year-old empires. The Galactic Council predicts major cultural shifts in the next 50 years. Conservative estimates suggest 6 species will adopt human-style social programs. Universal health care, education access, welfare systems. Not because we demanded it, because their people saw ours and wanted the same. Here's your personal takeaway. The traits that seem weak in competitive environments are actually strongest long-term. Compassion builds networks. Helping others creates allies. Caring about outcomes beyond personal gain generates trust. Marcus Webb wasn't trying to change the galaxy. He was trying to save a kid. But that single act demonstrated a truth every empire had forgotten. Strength isn't just about who can dominate. It's about who can inspire loyalty. And nobody inspires loyalty like someone who protects the helpless. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. Marcus Webb never gave an interview about the incident. He refused fame, declined awards, went back to cargo handling. But here's what nobody reported. That Vex'lar cub, Rexith, stayed with him. For 11 years, Rexith served as Marcus's bonded, protected him, learned from him, and something unexpected happened. Rexith became a teacher. He started a program teaching young Vex'lar about other species. Not just military intelligence, cultural understanding, empathy. The program was controversial. Traditional Vex'lar called it weakness training. But young warriors volunteered in huge numbers. Because they'd seen the recordings. They watched Marcus face down a pack. They saw him save someone who wasn't his species. And they wanted to be that brave. Here's the twist. The Vex'lar Empire's military effectiveness increased after adopting empathy training. Not decreased. Increased. Soldiers who understood their allies fought better in mixed-species units. Warriors who valued protecting others took smarter risks. Commanders who cared about their troops made better tactical decisions. Compassion wasn't making them weak. It was making them stronger. Marcus's action proved something the galaxy needed to learn. Evolution doesn't favor just the strong. It favors those who cooperate. Lone wolves die, packs survive. And humans are the galaxy's best pack builders. The final piece of this story happened last year. Marcus retired from cargo handling. He's 63 now. Lives on Earth with his family. Rexith retired from military service and moved to Earth with him. A Vex'lar warrior choosing to live on a human world was unprecedented. The Empire granted permission because Rexith's bonding was permanent. They live in Colorado. Marcus teaches wilderness first aid. Rexith helps with demonstrations. Together they train search and rescue volunteers. Species doesn't matter there. Just the mission. Save lives. Help others. Be strong enough to be gentle. The incident on Arcturus 7 started with a scream. It ended with a friendship that spans species. And across the galaxy, that friendship became a template. Humans and dozens of species now work together in ways that seemed impossible before Marcus roared. Because he proved something every warrior culture had forgotten. The strongest don't dominate. They protect. If this opened your eyes to humanity's real superpower, you need to hear what happened next. Let's recap what we discovered. First, human protective aggression makes us dangerous in ways predator species never anticipated. We feel others' pain and fight to stop it. Second, compassion creates stronger alliances than dominance ever could. Marcus saved one cub and gained an empire's respect. Third, humanity's greatest weapon isn't technology. It's our ability to care about beings we've never met. That trait is transforming galactic culture. Finally, the incident proved that evolution favors cooperation. The species that help each other survive longer than those that fight alone. This story shows why humanity matters in the cosmos. We're not the strongest or smartest, but we're the ones who roar when children scream. And that makes us irreplaceable. If the story resonated with you, smash that subscribe button. We dive deep into humanity's impact on the galaxy. Every video shows another moment where humans did the impossible simply by being human. Hit the like button if you want more HFY content. The algorithm will show this to others who need to hear it. Here's your deeper call to action. These stories matter because they show our best traits. Share this video with someone who needs reminding that compassion is strength. I've created a whole series on human-alien first contacts. Each one shows different aspects of what makes us special. The playlist link is in the description. Binge them all. We're also building a community on Discord. Discuss HFY stories. Share your own encounters with unexpected kindness. Connect with people who believe humanity's future is bright. The link's in the description. Now for my question to you. What human trait do you think aliens would find most surprising? Is it our compassion? Our stubbornness? Our creativity? Drop your answer in the comments. Best response gets featured in next week's video. I read every comment. Next week's episode covers the time a human chef accidentally started a galactic food revolution. You think tonight's story was wild? Wait until you see what happens when we introduce comfort food to species that eat for nutrition only. That video drops next Friday. Set your reminders. Until then, remember Marcus's lesson. You don't need to be the biggest. You don't need to be the strongest. You just need to care enough to roar.